You're scaring people. Do you really want to scare your own people this much? He talks about homegrowns are next. I mean, people are scared, not just illegal immigrants. And a lot of them are working. I live in L.A. They're the only people here who do work.
So here's what you don't know. First of all, President Trump has promised we're going to concentrate on public safety threats and national security threats, right? And the data shows it. Every morning I look at 22 pages of data. The last time I looked at data was the day before yesterday. 70% of everybody we're arresting is a criminal. 70%. Who's the other 30%? A lot of them are national security threats. We've arrested thousands of national security threats. Most of them don't have criminal histories because they're laying low to do their dirty deed down.
Bill Maher, speaking as a political commentator and insider, tries to pressure Americans into supporting mass amnesty by leaning heavily on emotional appeals that have been used over and over again, instead of offering solid reasoning. He frames the issue in a way meant to trigger guilt and sympathy. However, Tom Homan responds by breaking down those claims with straightforward facts and verifiable data, leaving little room for emotional manipulation. Once the dramatic language and moral posturing are removed, the weakness of Maher's argument becomes obvious. What remains is a familiar form of virtue signaling that collapses when it is tested against reality. This approach is not new. It reflects a pattern where political elites repeat the same amnesty talking points year after year, especially when stronger arguments are unavailable. As the discussion continues, it becomes clear that this messaging relies more on feelings than facts. The real-world consequences of these policies are often ignored, even though they affect public safety and working-class communities the most. When Homan presents hard crime statistics and real outcomes, Maher's claims about cheap labor and economic benefits unravel on the spot, exposing how shallow the argument truly is.
Agree that we need some immigration. Like we used to have a quota, like 1 million people a year. Say that's the right number.
We still do. We're the most giving nation in the entire world.
Okay, so let's say it's that. And we went overboard for the last 4 years under Biden, and we let in too many. Wouldn't it be smarter now to say, now that it's zero, let's let that even out? We were going to have 1 or 2 million every year, but we let in 10 million. Instead of uprooting all these people now, why not just an amnesty? Okay, it's not exactly kosher how you got here, but the amount of people you're scaring. I mean, I'm going to say to you the thing I said to him when I had dinner with him that horrible night. And, they hated it that I reported it honestly, that he does listen. And he looks you in the eye. And he not got mad one time when we were arguing about anything. I contradicted him.
But let me get to the point, though. If you want to send a message to the whole world, cross the border illegally, it's a crime, but it's okay. Have due process, get order removed by an immigration judge, don't leave, it's okay. Just don't commit another crime, you're good to go. If that's the message we send to the whole world, people are going to keep coming. And let me tell you something, there's a whole, illegal immigration is not a victimless crime. But the reason I am who I am, I've talked and got on my knees and talked to 9-year-old little girls who were raped by multiple members of a cartel just for passing her across the river. I stood in back of a tractor trailer with 19 dead people who baked to death. I ran out of Operation Ice Storm in Phoenix, Arizona, where smuggling organizations were ripping each other's off because the smuggled people were worth more money than dope. So they go to the house and rip each other off. They call a relative up and say, I have your brother here. You owe us $25,000. They say, no, we agreed on 10. Well, now it's $25,000. You pay it or I kill him. And they did. Bodies are piling up. They actually called relatives and tortured their son or their brother because they didn't pay the fees. What I'm saying is, that's why you have to show there's consequences. Because if you send a message, there's no consequences, and you want to reward illegal behavior, that's not going to stop.
Right, and I get all that. And for all that, I thank you for your service.
This is what happens when powerful elites frame immigration as a feel-good charity project that just so happens to line their own pockets. Maher presents mass amnesty as something ordinary Americans should accept without question, as if people struggling to get by should gladly support policies that mainly serve wealthy liberals who want a constant supply of low-paid, compliant labor. It is an argument built on moral pressure, not fairness or honesty. It is also worth remembering that this is the same Maher who openly mocked British citizens for saying they no longer recognize their own country. He even praised the decline of native-born populations, treating it like progress rather than a serious social concern. Those comments reveal a deep disconnect from the ideas of culture, history, and national identity that actually matter to everyday people. Americans never signed up for a system where they are expected to accept lower wages and fewer opportunities to keep elites comfortable. They did not agree to live in a permanent servant economy designed to benefit those at the top And Maher's inability to seriously challenge or counter Tom Homan's arguments only highlights how weak and poorly grounded his political views really are.
We also see is people being just taken away who are just regular day workers. The waitress who worked for 14 years at some coffee shop. And everybody's like, oh, you know what? We voted to get rid of the bad people. You know, the people you were just talking about, but not Carol. What's going on there? Don't you think it's been a little heavy-handed? Don't you think you've picked up a bunch of people who shouldn't be picked up at all? It doesn't seem like it was done with a scalpel.
What I think about every day is, we prioritize the words first, and the numbers show we do it. What I've said from day one, if you're in the country illegally, you're not off the table. You know why? Because there are millions of people standing in line, taking their tests, doing the background investigations, paying their fees to be part of the greatest nation on earth. If you want to be a part of the greatest nation on earth, there's a right way and wrong way to do it. If you like it or not, the ones who are here illegally cheated the system. They moved themselves to the front of the line, and they've overwhelmed the immigration court system back 9-10 years, which means that people who are really trying to come here the right way are sitting in the back of the bus. Right? It's just like what people don't talk about. These 10 million, 10.5 million came to the border and Biden. Well, they're asylum seekers. What people don't understand, if you look at immigration court data over the last 10 years, nearly 9 out of 10 of them will get an order removal because they don't qualify for asylum. They're not escaping fear and persecution from the home government because of race, religion, political affiliation. They're coming here for a better life, and I get that. But while they're clogging up the system and cheating the system, there are literally thousands of people in this world that really are escaping fear and persecution from their home countries that are sitting in the back of the bus. Yeah. So there's a reason we're a nation of laws. And if you or people don't like what ICE is doing, they go scream at Congress. We're enforcing laws today.
I hope it all gets better. Thank you for coming here.
Thanks for watching. Moments like this expose just how far removed many liberals have become from everyday reality. Maher complains endlessly about border enforcement, while refusing to confront the sheer size of the problem. Millions of people are living in the country illegally, and the impact is not abstract. Schools are overcrowded, hospitals are stretched thin, and local workers are pushed out of already competitive job markets. The left focuses almost entirely on the emotions of illegal migrants, yet shows little concern for the anxiety and frustration of ordinary Americans who are expected to absorb the financial and social costs of this crisis. Communities are forced to adapt overnight, while anyone who raises concerns is quickly labeled heartless or extreme. At the same time, patriots are routinely portrayed as a real threat, even as radical groups operate openly. Armed Antifa mobs shut down public spaces. Activists talk openly about forming militias, and some even train for confrontations with federal authorities. This cannot be brushed aside. We have already seen the consequences, including a recent deadly attack tied to a disturbed extremist who left political slogans written on his ammunition. This is not compassion, and it is not justice. It is a breakdown in judgment. Americans deserve safety, strong borders, and a reliable workforce that does not undermine their livelihoods. What they do not deserve are open border policies, smug lectures from elites, and rising threats of political violence. Now the question is yours. Should the country cave to billionaire pressure for mass amnesty simply because they despise Trump? Let us know what you think in the comments. If you found this video valuable, please like and subscribe. It helps the channel grow. Until next time, this has been our report.